From Milesburg Cemetery in beautiful Milesburg, PA. The cemetery is not as well kept up as some of the other ones that I've been to. Needs a little mowing. There's a lot of Revolutionary soldiers in here, which is why I'm here. My 6-time great-grandfather, Colonel John Holt. He was born in 1756 and died in 1831. And his wife, Sarah Malkin Holt, who was born in 1760 and passed away in 1830. John's son is James Holt, and his wife was Frances Barber Holt. And I believe they are laid to rest there. They do have records of them in the cemetery. However, it says that their headstones have been missing since 1920s. So I believe they're probably there. Frances and James also had 2 children in the cemetery. So I assume that they're somewhere in this general vicinity. It was Ursula, a daughter, who was 32 when she died, and John, and he died in 1851, and he was 33. Now, Frances Barber Holt seems to have died either giving birth or shortly after the birth of my 4-time great-grandmother, Sarah Elizabeth Holt Wise. Her birth date was 1833, and that was the same year or the same date that Frances Barber died. So that's unfortunate, but it did happen. After Frances died, James married Mary Polly Brooks, and they had 3 additional children. So altogether, James was the father of 10 children. Let's go back to Colonel John. I've cleaned their graves with D2. His was pretty clean. Sarah's was not so good, so I'm hoping that the weather and the D2 will do its magic and make these more white and more legible. I've also planted lavender on their graves, so hopefully that'll grow and that'll make it look a little prettier, and they'll know somebody cares. I was at the grave site. Colonel John Holt served under his uncle, Colonel Arthur Buchanan, who is buried in Old Town Cemetery, Lewistown, next to his mother, which would be John's grandmother, Dorcas Armstrong Holt Buchanan. And then on the other side of him is his Dorcas's other son, Robert Buchanan. John's father was Thomas Holt. He's also buried in that cemetery. However, there's no markings for him. That was their family plot. They were the settlers of Lewistown. That was their family plot. So then they just used that as the Old Town Cemetery and started burying people there as well. So we did get to visit with them. Don't know where he's buried at. So I would like to say thanks for tuning in, and I bid everyone here a good blessing. May they rest in eternal peace. Amen.